In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to bring in an avatar. If you made a character from another program and you want to bring it in here and you want to put some cloth on it. Alright, with that said, I'm going to go over some basic stuff. I'm not going to go over everything in a lot of detail, and I might not be 100% accurate, so I'm going to give you the best way that I do it. If I click the avatar here, which is the character, and we go over in the object browser window, and we look under the root here, this character here has got special things to it. This will allow it to animate and pose. The avatar that we're going to be bringing in is an OBJ. It will not have these options, and you will not be able to pose it or animate it. Alright, now with that said, when I make my character, it doesn't have to be exactly this tall, or it can be fat or it can be skinny, but there's going to be a lot of key features here that I want to keep in mind, is because we're going to be setting up some what we call arrangement points later, and if we can fit it pretty close to this new avatar here, the default one, and later on when we go ahead and move these arrangement points around, we don't have to move it around so much. In some areas probably not at all, and it's going to make things a little bit easier. So what are the key things that we need to take a look at when we make our new character? Alright, if we look at this one here, the feet are spaced apart. Now this is going to allow the cloth to go between the legs. We don't want the legs all bunched together. Another thing is, when we bring this avatar in, the feet are going to be on this floor grid. They're not going to be above it or below it. And if we look at the arms, they are straight down. They're not bent at the elbows. If they do, they're very slightly bent, and they're straight. Now, if your character is already made and it's not bent down like here, that's fine. They can be bent straight across here, but as long as they're straight, you should be in good shape. Let's take a top and back view look here. As you can see, the arms here are straight, and you can see the legs are straight up and down, and the arms are straight. It's in a T-pose. And you also want to keep the arms a little bit away from the body too, just the same way as the legs, because you want the cloth to go underneath the armpits, and you don't want to have the arms down by the side. And I'm going to be pausing the video so we can go to this other application, but before we do that, we'll delete this here. But before we do, I'll show it what arrangement points are. We'll turn that on. With that selected, this will allow you to move the pattern wherever you want. And with that said, we'll turn that back off, and we'll delete this, and all we want to do is export this as an OBJ. I already did it, so I'm going to pause the video and go in the next section. Alright, I'm going to be using ZBrush here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to import. We'll import the, I already got this super average man, and we'll open him up. It's a default model by through ZBrush here, and I already worked on it. I did spread the legs part a little bit. Let's go ahead and clone him, and then we're gonna, this is the character or avatar from Marvelous Designer, and we're gonna bring this in. Give it a few seconds. Press the F on the keyboard, frame it up. Then we're going to go to the subtool here, and what we're going to do is press a pin. Alright, I'm going to pin. I'm going to pin the super average man. And of course, he didn't show up. Let's go ahead and, since we're on, let's select him here. If I can get this right here, we're going to go to the deformation, unify him. I think I might have just need to do her, so let's try that again. And unify. And press F key on the keyboard, and there they are. They're overlapping each other, and I got the legs straight, and I got them, you know, both at the ground level. One might be taller than the other. Let's go ahead and switch the material here. Alright, now what we got here is we need to go into the super average man on this layer here, so we'll select it, and let me turn my draw size down a little bit. And I'm going to bring the arm down. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and mask that arm right about right there. I'm going to click to invert it. I'm going to click on the mesh to soften it up. Then I'm going to use this rotate, and we're going to go from here to the tip of the fingers, and we're going to start rotating it down. Now on the video you're going to get a little feedback. It looks like there's a second arm up at the top, but it's just a program delay and everything. But once I move it, it'll disappear, as you can see there. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do some more masking, and I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. So we'll just bring this over like this, click to invert it, click the mask to soften it up, and we're going to do that again about right here. And we're going to get it kind of close. And we might need to rotate it back just a little bit right there. Something close will be fine. You don't have to be 100% accurate. Okay, that looks good. Just scoot it back. Then I'm going to mask 1/2 of it. Try getting the center. And we're going to go over here, and we're going to go into the Smart Cemetery, and it's, you can see now they're both match. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and delete her. Let's move the mask, and then we're going to go ahead and export this as an OBJ. We'll bring it into one of this folder here, call this leave it a default name, and save it. Okay, I'm opening up this other application. You don't have to go this far, and the only reason why I'm doing it is because this makes it a little bit more simpler than ZBrush. Because I know for a fact after I saved out of ZBrush, then tried to bring it to Marvelous Designer, that the size was out of whack, the feet was going through the floor, and I can adjust it in ZBrush, but it just takes me a while to do that, and this makes it a lot simpler. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, we're going to go open, and we're going to, this is the one that comes from ZBrush that I saved. Leave everything default. As you can see, he's right through the floor grid right there, so we're just going to go ahead and scale him up just a little bit. Because I know for a fact the next character I bring in here, which is the one I saved for Marvelous Designer, is quite large. So let's go ahead and go to File, Import. That way we can have two at the same time. And this is, I named her, so I'm going to open that up and give it a few seconds. And she's so large I got to come way back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide that group, Control A, and group all this so we won't have a big old mess here. And we're going to grab this guy here, and we're going to grab this cube, and we're going to get him up pretty close to the avatar here. I want to keep it right in the middle, and we'll scale it up. Let's get it facing towards us here, and all I'm looking at right now is just kind of get the size. It don't have to be perfect, but the most important thing right now is get the feet right here at the bottom, exactly where the one is on the avatar. So we want it something like that. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to select her, and we're going to delete her. And this guy's a little bit boxy, so if I try putting cloth around here, it might not be so smooth, so I'm going to bump it up one subdivision level, then we're going to collapse DG here. Make the guy a little bit smoother so the cloth looks smooth around him. And go to File, Save As, and I'm going to go back into the same folder. I'm just going to overwrite this one here and save it. Okay, we got Marvelous Designer 2 open, and we want to get rid of the cloth here. We can just go to File, New. Okay, let's turn on the arrangement points here so we can see, and let's move this back here a little bit, zoom this in, and what we want to do is File, Import the OBJ. We select here. There's our one that we saved out of Hexagon. I'm going to leave everything at default. We want to load this as a new avatar and press OK. And we do, you can see, or if you can see in the video, feet are on the floor and the arrangement points are pretty close to where I want them. Okay, now we're going to go into the next step. Now if you want to move a arrangement point, as you can see, it's got one in the back of the head. Let's say I want it in the front of the head. You can see this one right. Zoom in here. What you need to do is you come over here. You might need to scoot this out, and you got arrangement points. Alright, then you can select the head, and when you click it, you got options for some things down here for the head, the arrangement point. Now if we have the X here, as you can see, it rotates around. Alright. Let's click here and go in the front view mode here, just to make sure we're going to get all lined up nice and straight, because we want to be in one direction. Alright, then we can align that arrangement point right there. Alright, and then if we need to move it up, we would use the Y-axis. Okay, maybe up the middle of the forehead. Okay, and we also have this offset, basically the same thing as the Z, for, you know, front to back. If you want to go ahead and once you get this done, and your character is a little different than the other one, you might want to go over this option over here. Let me just get this over a little bit. Arrange this one here, arrange BVs here. And what we're going to do is, I think this one here, we're going to show arrangement boundary volume. So I'm going to turn that on here. And what this does, if you look at the green right here, now the green here is actually where the mesh stops when it wraps around it. It'll wrap around this green here off this volume. So basically you want the arrangement point. Let's go back to arrangement point and just tilt it a little bit, and we're going to move it with offset right to it. You don't want it in it, you just want it barely on the outside. Okay, they all seem to be like that, and that seems to be working good like that. Now once you get that done, and if you need, you might need to adjust the boundary volume, and we'll go back over here. And what you do is, this is all in sections here, so in the head section, if you click it, you have options over here to adjust it. Okay? And you can also, if you want to move this, let's go ahead, and I need to hide something here. I want to hide the pattern windows right now. And if you want to move in the section of the head, you can actually click this and move the whole thing at one time. If you click the chest area, which is the body, you can move a whole set of these like this, or rotate them. Now when you're done, what you want to do is you want to save this. Okay? Then you also want to save your arrangement points. Okay? I did a little bit of reading, so this might not be 100% accurate, but I believe once you load your new character, you need to go ahead and open both of these. You need to open the arrangement points, so all your arrangements are all lined up, and the arrangement BV here, you need to open that up so they both match, and you'll have both matching set. Okay, so when we go to the, let's go to Windows, Pattern, let's bring this over. Let's make a little pattern right here. That way when you select here and click right there, you can see how it wraps around where the green transparent line is. And there's other adjustments over here. This is something you got to kind of tinker with. Once you get the hang of it, then you can see what's going on. Let's bring this over here. Okay. It's not clicking for me right now because my screen recording. But anyway, you'll select over here. Then there's going to be some more adjustments. There it goes. Let's go to Windows, hide that pattern. And there's going to be some adjustments down here to adjust these. Let's say that was the left arm. Let's go to arrangement point. Let's go ahead and left floor arm. I think that one was the one. It looks like it's kind of hiding right here. It's rotation. That was left wrist down. I'm just kind of checking through each one of these a little bit. There is a lot of stuff in here, so it's kind of eyeball it. I had to pause the video for just a second, and you can see this. You want this green to cover this arm up here, so you can move it up, and you can also scale it up too. So you want something, then you want to adjust the radius of this, of the BVH here, and it's got a lot of numbers in here. I wish it'd have little tickers here. You could, let me just experiment. There it goes, a little bit bigger. Maybe it needs to be a little bit bigger. You kind of get something like that. It's not gonna be perfect, so I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it right now. It needs to be covering the skin. That was the wrong direction. Let's try. That's why you gotta get in different angles like this. There we go, a little bit better. But anyway, then you know this needs to come out a little bit further on the point. It needs to be looks like it's sunk into the green transparent mesh. But anyway, I'm not getting into a whole lot of detail, but anyway, I hope this will get you up and running. And thank you very much.